hear you laughing.
Hello and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie. In anticipation of Valentine's Day, we are doing books with heart since February is Heart Health Month. So Jill, what's your first pick?
My first one is nonfiction, so those of you who want to really learn about heart health. Smart at Heart, a holistic 10-step approach to preventing and healing heart disease for women, by Melissa Wood. If you're one of the millions of women who have been diagnosed with heart disease or at risk for developing it, you might be surprised to learn that a simple life changes will profoundly affect your health. According to a revolutionary study by Harvard-trained cardiologist Melissa Wood, the author of this book, true cardiovascular health must address the whole heart, its physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects. Dr. Wood's findings form the basis of Smart at Heart, a breakthrough mind-body approach to preventing and healing heart disease by strengthening the 10 bridges that create total heart health. By exploring these 10 keys areas of your life, you can fight heart disease. For example, while exercise and nutrition are known to improve cardiac health and make up 2 of the bridges, Dr. Wood's study also shows small changes to your environment, the way you communicate, the way you handle stress, has a big effect on your heart. So something as commonplace as clearing out the clutter from your home can positively change not only your emotions, but your physical well-being. Heart disease is a serious diagnosis, and if you are at risk, there's a lot you can do to improve your own health. Smart at Heart empowers you to the solutions you need, backed up by science, to create a whole, healthy heart. So if you want to make some little changes that'll help your heart health, Smart at Heart.
Kind of went along with our New Year's resolution of getting organized, even to help your heart health. My first pick is Knit Red Stitching for Women's Heart Health by Laura Zander, and I believe there's also a crochet red version of this book too. This was actually back from 2012. Gorgeous knitwear that does good. The knitting community has always come together to support a great cause, and Knit Red once again attests to knitters' generous giving spirit. There's 30 beautiful red-themed projects which help raise awareness of the #1 killer of women today, heart disease. The patterns were all donated by top designers, including Debbie Stoller, Nikki Epstein, Debbie Bliss, Deborah Newton, Melissa Morgan Oakes, Jared Flood. There's a whole bunch in here. In addition, the book also offers important medical info, a heart-healthy resources and action plan, and powerful stories from survivors of this deadly ailment. So if you're a knitter, check out Knit Red, Stitching for Women's Heart Health.
Good time of year to knit, too. So my next one is fiction. This is The Heartbreak Bakery by A.R. Capetta. This was published in 2021. Teenage baker Sid sends ripples of heartbreak through Austin's queer community when a batch of post-being-dumped brownies turns out to be magical. It makes everyone who eat them break up. This is kind of an anti-Valentine's Day book here. What is done, unless, of course, it was done by my brownies. Then it's getting undone. Sid, no pronouns please, has always dealt with big, hard-to-talk-about things by baking. Being dumped is no different, except now Sid is baking at the Proud Muffin, a queer bakery and community space in Austin. And everyone who eats Sid's breakup brownies breaks up. Even Vin and Alec, who own the Proud Muffin. And their breakup might be take the bakery down with it. Being dumped is one thing, causing ripples of queer heartbreak through the community is another. But the cute bike delivery person Harley, he or they, check the pronoun pin, it's probably in the messenger bag, believes Sid about the magic bacon, and Harley believes Sid's magical bacon can fix things. 2, one recipe at a time. So if you want to read about the magical Heartbreak Bakery in Austin, this is the one for you.
My next pick is The Heart Principle. This was published back in 2021. A woman struggling with burnout learns to embrace the unexpected and the man she enlists to help her in this New York Times best-selling romance by Helen Hong. When violinist Anna Sun accidentally achieves career success with a viral YouTube video, she finds herself incapacitated and burned out from her attempts to replicate that moment. And when her longtime boyfriend announces he wants an open relationship before making a final commitment, a hurt and angry Anna decides that if he wants an open relationship, then she does too. Translation, she's going to embark on a string of one-night stands. The more unacceptable the men, the better. That's where tattooed motorcycle riding Kwan comes in. Their first attempt at a one-night stand fails, as does their second, and their third, because being with Kwan is more than just a one-night stand. He accepts Anna on an unconditional level that she herself has just started to understand. However, when tragedy strikes Anna's family, she takes on a role that she's ill-suited for, until the burden of expectations completely threatens to destroy her. Anna and Quan have to fight for their chance at love, but to do that, they also have to fight for themselves. So check out The Heart Principle, published back in 2021.
That's a popular author, too.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of good stuff. So my next one is at historical fiction, A Heart Worth Stealing by Joanna Barker. This takes place in Little Sowerby, England in 1802. Miss Genevieve Wilde, a magistrate's daughter and independent heiress, is determined to meet her life's challenges all on her own, just as her late father had taught her. So when her father's pocket watch is stolen, she will do anything to get it back, especially when the local authorities prove incompetent. Upon reading an advertisement in the paper, she takes a chance and contacts a thief-taker to find the watch. It's a choice Ginny regrets when former Bow Street officer Jack Travers arrives on her doorstep. He is frustratingly flirtatious, irritatingly handsome, and entirely unpredictable, and Ginny wonders if she'll be able to resist such a man. But after Ginny discovers that the missing watch is just a small part of a larger, more frightening plot against her, she needs Jack's help more than ever. To protect her home and her reputation, the two enter in a risky charade, pretending Jack is her cousin so he can begin his investigation, starting with the household staff. As they work together to unravel the mystery, Ginny finds herself falling fast for her charismatic thief-taker, leaving her heart in just as much danger as her life. So, a heart worth stealing.
My next pick comes from nonfiction, and this is Heart to Talk by Cleo Wade. Heart Talk, Poetic Wisdom for a Better Life. This was published back in 2018. It's a beautifully illustrated book by this author. She's an artist, poet, and speaker who has been called the Millennial Oprah by New York Magazine. It offers creative inspiration and life lessons through poetry, mantras, and affirmations. It's perfect for fans of the bestseller Milk and Honey. And true to her popular Instagram account, Cleo Wade brings her moving life lessons to this book. It's a spiritual book of wisdom for the new generation. It features over 120 of Cleo's original poems, mantras, and affirmations, including fan favorites and never-before-seen ones. It's a daily pep talk to keep you feeling empowered and motivated. It has relatable, practical, and digestible advice, including hearts break, that's how the magic gets in. And baby, you are the strongest flower that ever grew. Remember that when the weather changes. That's a portable, replenishing pause for your daily lives. Keep Heart Talk by your bedside table or in your bag for an empowering boost of spiritual adrenaline that helps you discover and unlock what is blocking you from thriving emotionally and spiritually.
Nice.
So, Heart Talk, Poetic Wisdom for a Better Life.
We're due for another Oprah, too.
The Millennial Oprah.
My next one is called Heartland by Kimberly Stewart. This was published in 2018. A story of reconnection, lost love, and the power of faith. Heartland follows a struggling fashion designer back to her small town in Iowa as she tries to follow her dreams of success and finding true love. Grace Claren has finally made her dream of living in the Big Apple and working in the fashion industry a reality. But when she's unexpectedly fired and can't afford next month's rent, Grace does something she never thought she'd do. She moves back home. Back to Silver Creek, Iowa, from New York City. Grace is determined to hate it. She rails against the quiet in her small town, where everything closes early, where there's no nightlife, where everybody knows each other. She's saving her pennies and plotting her return to New York when she almost runs over a man who's not paying attention at a crosswalk.
Oh, goodness.
It turns out to be Tucker, her high school sweetheart, whose heart she broke when she left 10 years ago. They reconnect, and Grace remembers why she fell for him in the first place. As her career begins to turn around and she finds a gorgeous but tattered vintage dress at a flea market, she buys it, rips it apart seam by seam, and recreates it with new fabric, updating the look with some of her own design ideas. She snaps a picture and lists the dress online, and within a day, it sells for nearly $200. Suddenly, Grace has her ticket out of here. But Grace can't fight her growing feelings for Tucker. Sometimes when they're together, Tucker paints a picture of what their future could be like, and it feels so real. And when she finally gains the funding to move her new business back to New York, Grace must decide where home really is. Will she chase her long-held New York dream or find a new dream here in the heartland? So, live in Iowa with your guy or go to New York?
Go back to New York. Oh, goodness. My fourth pick also comes from the nonfiction collection, and this is Pump, A Natural History of the Heart by Bill Schutt, published in 2021. It's a journey into the heartbeat of life on Earth. When we first began puzzling over the mysteries of the human body, one organ stood out as vital. The heart was warm. It was central, and it moved as it pumped blood. The ancient Egyptians treated it with reverence, mummifying it separately from the body so that the soul inside it could be weighed. Aristotle believed that it was the seat of consciousness. Over the centuries, science has dispelled the myths, but our fascination with our hearts has endured. From the origins of circulation, still evident in some microorganisms today, to the enormous hearts of blue whales, we journey with bill shut to beaches where horseshoe crabs are being harvested for their life-saving blood, and under the sea to learn about the world's most natural antifreeze flowing through the veins of ice fish. And we follow him through heart history too, for humans, as scientists hypothesize wrongly and rightly about what is arguably our most important organ, ultimately developing the technologies that have helped us study the heart, and now, in the most cutting-edge labs, the tools that will help us regenerate it. It's deeply researched and engagingly told. It's a fascinating natural history sure to be loved by readers of Mary Roach and Bill Bryson. So if you want to know about the history of hearts, natural history for the heart, check out Pump.
Cool. I love the title of that, too. The pumps all the way down. So my last book today is The Heart by Melis de Carengo. This was published in 2014. Just before dawn on a Sunday morning, 3 teenage boys go surfing. While driving home exhausted, the boys were involved in a fatal car accident on a deserted road. 2 of the boys are wearing seatbelt, 1 goes through the windshield. The doctors declare him brain dead shortly after arriving at the hospital, but his heart is still beating. The heart takes place over 24 hours, surrounding the resulting heart transplant. As life is taken from a young man and given to a woman close to death, in gorgeous ruminative prose, it examines the deepest feelings of everyone involved as they navigate decisions of life and death. As stylistically audacious as it is emotionally explosive, The Heart mesmerizes readers in France, where it has been hailed as the breakthrough work of a new literary star. With the precision of a surgeon and the language of a poet, de Carengo has made a major contribution to both medicine and literature with an epic tale of grief, hope, and survival. So this was first published in France and now translated from The Heart.
My last pick comes out of fiction. Popular author at the library, Colleen Hoover's Heartbones, which was published back in 2020. Life and a dismal last name are the only 2 things Bea Grimm's parents ever gave her. After carving her path all on her own, she's well on her way to bigger and better things, thanks to no one but herself. With only 2 short months separating her from the future she's built and the past she desperately wants to leave behind, an unexpected death leaves Bea with no place to go during the interim. Forced to reach out to her last resort, Bea has to spend the remainder of her summer on a peninsula in Texas with a father she barely knows. Her plan is to keep her head down and let the summer slip by seamlessly. But her new neighbor Samson throws a wrench in that plan. Samson and Bea have nothing in common on the surface. She comes from a life of poverty and neglect. He comes from a family of wealth and privilege. But one thing they do have in common is that they're both drawn to sad things, which means they're drawn to each other. With an almost immediate connection too intense for them to continue denying, Bea and Samson agree to stay in the shallow end of a summer fling. What Bea doesn't realize is that a rip current is coming and it's about to drag her out to sea. So a good end for Valentine's Day pick, Heartbones.
So I hope, however you're celebrating this Valentine's Day, whether or not you have a sweetheart or not, you are thinking about your heart, and we help to find some books to help strengthen your heart.
Keep your heart healthy. Thanks for watching our videos. You can find us on the Kimberly Public Library Facebook, YouTube, website. You know where to find us. We thank you for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.